Natalie, dude, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, totally. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, we've known each other for so long now.
Oh, man.
And it's really one of those crazy things for me because I just knew you as this pretty girl that was playing guitar and just
There were like
hanging out.
two of us, you know? It was like...
all two of you.
Sorry.
No, it was rad, but it's, and now, I mean, just to see the progress from back then to now and just all the different steps you take along the way is just really impressive. I was watching some of this footage and just, I mean, you are, for lack of a better way of putting it, brutal.
Thanks.
You know, yeah, super fun to watch.
Thank you. That's the goal, always to be fun to watch.
Yeah, totally. But you know, there's some people here who don't know who you are. Do you mind going back a bit, you know, talking a bit about what you're doing now and how you kind of got here?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Natalie Killface Morgan. Yes, everyone, he knows me as Natalie Morgan. How far do you want me to go back?
However, yeah, I mean, well, because here's the thing. One of the ideas is, you know, to get people inspired about certain things. So as far as you want to go back, that, you know, defines who you are and how you made the decisions, any of that. So as far back as you want to go.
Alright, cool. So let's start before we met. Yeah, so like, I went to Musicians Institute. That's where we met. What got me to LA was that. So that was like a huge turning point in my life. Like, you know, Greg and I were from back east, so I grew up in a really small town in West Virginia. So I think there were like 5,000 people in my town. Yeah, that was it.
Does that even classify as a town? I think that's like still a village here in California.
Oh, I know. I'm like, that's one block over here. So yeah, no, I just woke up one day. I was going to college, and I was like doing the general ed thing, and I was like, man, I just woke up one day, and I was like, oh my God, is this what I want to do? Is this where I want to be for the rest of my life? Like, this is such a small town, and you know, a lot of your friends end up in drugs and in jail, and it's a really small place. So I just woke up and I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go somewhere. I'm going to do something that I like. And then I was like, what do I like? What do I like to do? I don't know. I'm 18. I have no idea. So I played piano, liked music. I did play guitar, but I was never, you know, that good at it. So I was like, maybe I'll go check out a music school. So it was actually Berkeley or MI.
That was kind of what I was looking at too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then Berkeley was like really expensive. So I'm like, oh, I mean, MI's not cheap, but I was like, oh, it's shorter, it's a little cheaper, and I just up and left. I was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out. A guy that I went to high school with, we weren't super close. He went to a recording school in Arizona. I don't know the name of it.
Oh, yeah, it's I know there is one now.
But I don't know what it is. But anyways, he was there, and I like messaged him probably. I don't remember. There was no. I don't even think Facebook was around at that time. I think it had just started. So I think I probably had to call him. I was like, yeah.
What was that thing? MySpace. I remember that. Was that even a thing then? Like,
MySpace was a thing.
That was probably a thing then.
You had your page with the song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was it. Oh my God. So yeah, I hit him up and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go to music school. I was like, you're in Arizona. Do you want to move to LA? And he was like, yeah, I can probably get an internship out there. Let me see if we can find somebody else to room with us. And it just kind of, all the cards fell in place, and I was there in October when I turned 9, or no, I was there in May. I came out before we started school, yeah.
Okay.
So I got here in May, and then we started school in October, and I fell in love with the city, and I've been here ever since.
That's funny to hear. I love this place when I first got here. It's grown on me in some ways, and in other ways. Let me check on these baked goods right here real quick, and yeah. Already I have editing to do. Woohoo! Alright, so that's going to go off in about another 3 minutes. Let's take this out.
Yeah, no worries.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's how I got here. And then, you know, I did school. I love school.
Yeah.
I was not good. I was okay.
Well, I mean, that's actually one of the things Greg and I talked about was a lot of MI was what you put into it going there.
It really was.
Because there's a lot of good players that went in, good players. They knew they were good players, they really did a whole lot, and they came out a little bit better.
Yeah.
And there were some guys that went in there that really weren't good. They came out pretty good, and then they put in the time afterwards, went back, checked everything out, put it all together. Yeah. And later on in life, these are people that we're looking at and was like, wow, man, these are some players now.
That's awesome.
So really, like, yeah, I wouldn't hold it against anybody for going in there and
Yeah,
not
I know,
being,
yeah.
you know. And
I was like,
I've heard you play, not
yeah.
in a while, but
Yeah, oh God, I'd be terrible. I don't play anymore ever. I should. I know. I have my guitar sitting out now at least. So I was like, I'm gonna sit it out so I can play.
it seems like what you're doing now in guitar with it's kind of.
Well, it's funny because they both. I compare them somewhat. They're both an art in a way.
Yeah.
Martial arts, you know, music arts. They're similar in ways. It takes a lot of discipline. So that's actually what made me put down guitar was because I had to make a choice. I came to a crossroads. I was playing in bands. I wasn't making much money. I was teaching. And then I started Muay Thai, and I was actually pretty decent at it. I was like, oh, I kind of like this fighting thing. I think this might be, you know, something I can do. So I did it for like.
How'd you initially get to where you're like, because they seem so far apart from the guitar to, you know.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. So, okay. So I graduate. We had our group of friends. As you know, people out in the world do not know, mostly. I was in a Spinal Tap tribute band that was all female. It was hilarious. We were terrible, and that was the point. And we were called Tap This. That was the best part. We played all bass. We had the Stonehenge, the whole deal.
What would you be without Stonehenge?
I know, right? I found one of those DVDs the other day. I was like, oh my God. So I took it to my buddy's house, and I was like, let's watch this. And he went to recording school, which is funny. And he's my coach. He's one of my coaches. And I was like, let's watch this. And we started watching, and I expected it to be really, really bad. And I was like, oh. It wasn't as bad as I remembered it being.
It's one of those things where I noticed, like, even, like, trained musicians, and you try to do stuff poorly at times and all that, and sometimes it's really hard to make things sound really...
Like, really bad.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, because Paloma, she was a good drummer, so she held down the beat, and, like, I was surprised. I was in the video, she was like, Nat, this isn't as bad as I thought. He was like, I was almost worried there for a minute that I was going to be embarrassed for you. I was like, no, dude, it's not that bad.
Speaking of Paloma Estevez,
we keep in touch.
And I saw that thing recently about her wreck and everything. So
oh my God, I know.
She's like was able to just walk away with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm gonna check these real quick.
Yeah, do you think? Yeah, no, she's married now, which is awesome.
She was awesome.
She is so awesome.
Girl. I haven't seen her in so long.
I haven't seen her either. She was gonna come to one of my fights maybe a year ago. Something happened, she couldn't make it, but I saw Amy not too long ago. Yeah. She's clean, 100%. She's awesome.
That's good.
I know. She was. Yeah. I love her. She was a hot mess. But
there was a line of work we were in. You know,
part of the life.
My moments.
It's part of the life. Yeah, me too.
Don't get into details, but yeah.
So that's how I got into Muay Thai. Playing bars, drinking all the time. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting fat. I need to go do something. So you remember Scott Moda?
Yes,
I owe a lot of my career to Scott Moda. Scott Moda, if you're watching this, because we would go watch UFC with Scott all the time. And Muay Thai, we talk about Muay Thai, guys. There's this thing called Muay Thai. It's the stand-up part of whatever they're doing. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me look up this Muay Thai. So I Googled it, and I was like, okay, this is what it is. I did a little history search. This is what it is. It's stand-up. It seems fun. So then I looked up a bunch of classes in the LA area. And actually a lot popped up. I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was a thing. Yeah. So I went to a class, and I really liked it. I was like, this is so fun. I was sweaty, and it was kind of competitive, you know? So I'm like, this is great. I'm having a great time. It's not like running on the treadmill, which is terrible. So
I always hated that. I grew up playing soccer and stuff, so I was used to, when I was actually running, being able to stretch the legs and stuff. It's totally different than running than the treadmill, especially I'm almost 6'3", so it's all.
Are you 6'3"?
Yeah, almost.
Oh man.
I'm getting old, I'm sure my spine is compressing and stuff. If you guys me first thing in the morning, I'm sure I'm probably
6'3".
closer.
You get down to 6'1".
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Well, one of these days I'll probably be waking up and be like, wow, dude, am I even breaking 6 foot anymore?
Oh, that's funny. No, that's awesome. But yeah, so that's how I started. I was like, cool, this is fantastic, and I was going for 3 months or so, every day almost. I think 5 days a week. It was right down on La Brea, and the person that I took my classes with, it was her little studio. She didn't have a gym or anything. She had a small studio, so I asked her one day if. I was like, I'm kind of interested in fighting because she was a fighter, and I'm like, fighting seems like it would be something I would want to do. It's very competitive, and So she was actually pretty encouraging about it, and then she took me to the yard for sparring and stuff, which is where I train now. So yeah, and then I ended up at the yard, and that was.
Where's the yard at?
It was downtown then.
Okay.
It was like right in Boyle Heights. You know where Villains, like Villains bar.
I heard of it.
Yeah, it's right downtown.
Okay.
And now it's in Lincoln Heights. So.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not far.
No. That's the thing. The funny thing is, LA, nothing is really that far, but at the same time can be super far.
I know. I was like, Googled it to here, and it actually wasn't bad today, but it's like 15 miles. I'm like, 15 miles takes like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
So yeah, that's pretty much the story. But yeah, so once I had my first fight, like after she took me to that gym, I trained for a year, and I had my first fight.
How did that go down? I mean, how did, like, you know, I boxed freshman year in high school, just a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, but nothing ever major, and so I don't have any idea how you go about going from, just, learning a martial art to actually going in and scheduling a fight, or how's that go? Yeah.
So I guess how it goes is like, you have your coach, which I'm sure you had your coach with boxing.
I didn't, because this was a extracurricular thing.
Got it.
And there was like a volunteer guy,
okay.
I think it was college guy.
Okay.
So nothing serious. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So
everything we did was sparring. I never had a real fight.
Okay.
All my fights were real fights, so to speak.
Like actual fights in the street.
Yeah,
I've actually
really
never
proud
had any of those, knock on wood. No.
I've had a few. Most of my experiences have actually been brawls, multiple, like large amounts of people,
groups.
and
God,
and usually where I'm in a group, it's the minority, the smaller group, and bigger guys, so it's always been interesting.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible. I've been in fights with my sister, other than like the right.
Every one of them is the sort of thing that I try to avoid, and even at the time,
of course.
too, but
sometimes you can't. I know.
Well, sometimes you have to protect other people who don't have the means to protect themselves.
No, for sure. Yeah. No, I get that 100%.
It probably would have been nicer if I would have had that option more like that, controlled environment.
Yeah.
Going in, I'm choosing who my opponent is. I'm accepting the fight.
Exactly.
I'm acknowledging the consequences of my actions. Things like that.
For sure.
But in some ways also takes, excuse my expression, takes more balls.
Oh,
to just be like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm just gonna stand there. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna stand there, and you're gonna punch at me. I'm gonna punch at you. I'm gonna kick at you. You're gonna kick at me.
We're agreeing to this.
At the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
One of us may not make it all 3 or 5 rounds, or are most of your fights 3 rounds or 5 rounds?
I've had a lot of 5-round fights, but it's different rules. So like Muay Thai, how's it go? If you're amateur and it's not a title fight, it's 3 rounds, but the rounds are shorter, so it's 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes. If it's a title fight, then it's 5 2-minute rounds. As a professional, it should be 5 rounds, but some promotions like to put a lot of people on a card, so they'll instead of 5 they give you 4, which is tough because if you have 4 rounds, it's easy to go to a draw, so you have to make it like definitive.
Yeah, it seems weird. It seems like they just go with 3
and maybe
do, I don't know about adding time onto the rounds because that's pretty brutal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's 5 3-minute rounds as a professional for a title fight, or as it should be any fight. But yeah, so like in Thailand, it's always going to be that no matter what.
Yeah.
Because there's no differentiation between amateur and pro. It's all pro. Even like the 6-year-olds. It's crazy. Yeah.
I'll have to look some of that up.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty crazy.
It's pretty insane.
Are you alright if I have a little bit to smoke here?
Go ahead.
Actually, let me grab these things too.
Oh yeah. They smell good. I can smell them now.
I'm just gonna bring the whole tray and then let it chill out.
But how you go about getting a fight. So basically you just ask, if you're interested, tell the coach at the gym that you're at, and then they kind of make the decision like, should this person fight, should this person not fight? Because some people, they may want to do it, but it's probably not in their best interest. So sometimes you have to take safety into concern.
I would imagine that's probably an overlying factor in a lot of things, actually. I mean, just even somebody who's, just has one, specific thing, even a sickness, like a cold or a flu for a week, and be like, dude, do we really want to have these 2 fight or something?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to make game time decisions to pull out of a fight if there's a situation like that. I've only had to pull out of a fight one time, but it's because of like a back neck spine issue thing. But
sounds like a pretty good reason.
Yeah, it was like you know, if it would have happened a month before the fight, that would have been one thing. But it happened like 2 weeks, and I was like, man, we're almost like there. This is like crunch time. I was like, I gotta pull out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's basically, you know, how it goes, and then you just keep training. You have to basically show them that you're willing to put in the work. It's like anything, you gotta put in the work, do what they say, and once they think you're ready, they'll start, you know, reaching out to the people that they know, like, hey, I got this person, he or she is 0-0, like, look, we wanna get him a fight, they give
Just
you
your
all the
coaches that have the connections
yeah,
to people, and
because
they're
a lot of,
basically-
most gyms, all the coaches have been in this business for a really long time, so they know everybody.
I assume that are they hooking up with other coaches then just to try to match
Yeah,
fighters
yeah,
and then,
totally,
then
yeah.
get onto a ticket someplace?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or reaching out to like people who throw the shows, like, hey, I got somebody who's interested, and this is their record, kind of situation.
Okay, so it's I guess similar to like rock venues and stuff where you have a promoter who's basically, okay, I got all access to all the people,
Totally.
I'll pay, get the event going, get all the people together, and here we go.
Exactly, same situation, yeah. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I had my first fight, and then I fought for like, I think I had like 7 fights my first year. It was something crazy. I was like, let's do this, let's do this.
That's a lot of fights.
It was a lot of fights. That's the most I've ever done in 1 year. I was like, I was ready for a break after that, but I kept continuing to fight, and then I got to like I was saying, I got to like this crossroads where I was like, do I keep playing in bands, or do I really go for this? Because it's like, if I want to go for this, I have to give it like everything that I've got. I don't have time to do both. So yeah, I just made the game time decision. I was like, I'm gonna choose this because
This is after the year and after like 7 fights that year.
After like 7 fights, yeah, and I was doing both, you know, and I'm still working, like, still had to work like a serving job. I served and bartended for like 16 years, so doing all of that, I'm like, man, I can't like keep doing everything.
It's a lot of balls to juggle.
Yeah, so I made the decision, and it's been a good one. I'm glad I made the decision.
You seem like you've been doing really well with it, and
Thanks.
like, you know, and the funny part is you're sitting here taking punches and smiling, and it's just like, man, all right, you're apparently doing something you like doing.
I do like it. I mean, honestly, at a certain level, it's like you have to like it. Yeah, you have to like getting, you know, you're gonna get hit eventually, like in a fight or wherever in sparring, you're gonna get hit. So you gotta like it, and you know, a lot of times I don't like training. I'm tired, like, you know, I'm exhausted, and my body just wants to stop, and you know, you're training like, you know, when you start out at like, you know, 6 hours a week, when you start, whatever, as you start to become, you know, there's layers, there's levels to this. You start to get better, your competition gets better, so you have to keep just going up and up and up, you know, you have to keep leveling up to get better and to be better than the other people that you're fighting. So you end up, you know, then you're like training 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week. When I was living in Thailand, I was training like 25 hours a week.
Yeah,
sleep, train, eat, sleep, train, eat, and that was it, you know?
It sounds like, I mean, it's one of those things, it's like, oh, well, you know, people work 40-hour work weeks, but then you start taking into account the physical fatigue and exertion, the ripping of the muscles, the fact that all this stuff has to repair itself, and you're really, you know, even if you're breaking up like a standard workout, you know, where you work out different groupings each day so that you give them, still, I mean, after so long, it just seems like,
it does, yeah. You're just, essentially, someone said to me yesterday, like, they're like, how are you? And I was with a friend of mine.
That's why anybody would take steroids.
Right. As a female, I would never. I always think of, what's her name? The wrestler from when I was a kid, China. I always think of her. But yeah, no, I ran into my friend yesterday, and her,
so I think Fallon Fox.
Huh? I don't know.
You know Fallon Fox?
Fox, no.
It's the trans woman.
Oh.
Who's beating the crap out of all the other women.
Oh, yeah. I did, yes. I know that.
Even though it's my opinion, I'm not going to give my opinion on that one.
Yeah, I met Nam Toom, is that her name? In Thailand. She's also a transgender fighter who fights females. She looks very scary.
Yeah, it's like, well, anyway, I'm not gonna touch on that one. Unless you want to, by all means, then we can totally delve into it. But that's a weird area for me.
It's a weird area for me too. So I'm like I'm all for like gender equality, and I really back all of it. But sometimes I think it's tough.
I don't think a man needs to be beating on a woman.
I mean, genetically,
I think,
genetically, your genes are a little.
You got a Y chromosome. I just don't think you need to be beating on the double X's. That's all.
Yeah.
That's. But hey.
I would never. I wouldn't want to be in there. That's that's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't want you to be in there. That's the exact point. I wouldn't want any, biologically born woman to.
I know, I train with guys every day and they beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, imagine, I can totally see the concept of you doing that, in the fact that, I mean, if you're having somebody who can just literally put that many extra pounds per square inch into their punches and you can take it.
Yeah. It's good for certain things like.
I'm not saying it's the most healthy thing in the world, of course, to take a punch anytime, but if
Definitely,
you're gonna be taking one anyway. So is this match going to be basically you trying to stay on your feet and to keep it a striking?
Exactly. Any MMA fight that I ever do is essentially going to be that.
Yeah. Well, I've seen that you're a big fan of striking, and I mean you got a lot. You're good at keeping people away at a distance with your legs and stuff, and then when they come in, you get in there, it's like, man, and then the fucking elbows that you throw, it's like, dude, I see that, you're just waiting for a chance where you're just waiting for them to go that one way, so you're just like, yeah, come on!
Yeah. I'm like, just fuck up, come on, bang. That's like my favorite.
That one knockout that you got though. That one girl.
So yeah, it was 16 of us. I went there and I trained at Fairtex for, like 2 months? So I lived there for like 2 months, and then I took a fight with them. I was like, I need to get my feet wet. I haven't had a fight in a while. It's been like a year and a half that I hadn't fought. I was like dying. Every fight that I had would just fall through, like 5 of them. That's when I was like, I'm fed up.
That must be disheartening too, where it's like.
I cried so much that year. It was terrible. So yeah, you're just like training, and then you're like 3 weeks into your camp, 4 weeks into your camp, and they're like, sorry, so-and-so got injured, or, whatever happened. No. It's really disheartening. But yeah, so I went to Thailand. I had that first fight with Fairtex. It was an interesting night. We went up to Chiang Mai, we flew up there. I had 3 different opponents that day. I was supposed to fight some girl. And they were like, yeah, no, she got in a moped accident, so you're going to fight this girl. And I was like, okay, whatever. So it's a little bigger. I'm like, whatever, I'll still fight her. She was probably like 12 pounds heavier than me, but I was like, yeah, whatever.
It's all weight class though, right?
It is, okay. But in Thailand it's kind of like, yeah, sure, you guys look about the same. It's kind of like that. So Dan Chai, the guy who was training me, he said, Mr. Wong from Fairtex would have lost his mind. Like, no way. He was like, no, we're not fighting her. And I was like, I really want to fight. Like, I train, I'm here, like, let's fight. So they call somebody else, and this other girl shows up. She's a little wider, but shorter. Yeah. And he was like, okay, this girl, she's good. I'm like, okay, cool. So then we go to fight. We're there with another kid. He's like, this kid was probably like 10. He was good, really good. His dad was Slovakian, I think. His dad bets a shitload of money on his kid, right? He's like, my kid's gonna win. He gets really fucking drunk. His kid loses.
Oh, shit.
So his kid loses, and he starts losing his mind because he just lost, like, a shitload of money. Starts losing his mind.
Dude, was he drinking first and then bet the money? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what order. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. He's probably drinking the whole time. So a riot breaks out. I'm in the ring. I am in the ring at this point. We're getting ready.
Probably the safest place to be.
Right? So they said, no, you can't be in there because you're a foreigner. If they, like, he gets punched in the face because of the riot, and they're like, this foreigner, if they get mad at foreigners because they're foreigners, like, something could happen to you. So I'm, like, ready to fight, and this riot breaks out, and they pull me out of the ring. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So
and this is still before your actual first fight there.
It was crazy. So I was like, Jesus Christ, this is nuts. So then I go to the back, and they're like, okay, they're going to let you guys fight still, just we're going to wait 3 more fights till things calm down. And I was like, all right, cool. I fought. I beat her ass for 5 rounds. I was like...
But you're already warmed up, too, and ready to go,
I was ready to go.
Are you trying to stay warm this whole time?
Well, they don't want you to be... They don't warm up there. It's really different. I like a lot of warm up. I'm a slow starter. If I don't warm up, like, a lot here, then I don't get going until, like, the 3rd round. So... But I did all right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think she was training. I think she was just some girl that they grabbed, but whatever. She knew how to fight, but I don't think she was, like, good.
Okay.
But anyway, so I won that fight. And then the tournament started, so then I came home and got my team from here, and then we went back and forth the rest of the year, fought in that tournament. And then I had my pro debut in the States in the summer while I was home, in between the rounds of the tournament. That year was crazy. It was fun though. That was
so you're flying back and forth.
I flew back and forth. I think it was like, oh my god, it was like crazy. Was it like 14 trips or something? Like total, like one there, one back, like 14 total times flying. It was insane, but it was good. It was like one of the best. It was pretty unorganized, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. I really had a good time, especially when Yoshi went with me. God, we laughed so much. It was so fun. Yoshi is he's the guy that went to the LA recording school that I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
He's one of the trainers at the gym. So, but he's like my age, so. He's like the brother I never had kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's awesome. So he's goofy as hell, and we just laughed the whole time. And we had, I mean, he was there when I knocked her out, so he's like my good luck charm, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then.
Pack him in your suitcase for.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, let's go. So let's see, that's the evolution. So yeah, I had my pro debut, and then once I changed weight classes too. So like.
When was his pro debut?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
A little over 2 years ago, yeah, it was 2 years ago, my pro debut, and then like.
So you spent about 4 years from the inception of you starting to getting into Muay Thai, just walking into the gym one day and saying, "Hey, I've been drinking too much beer," to signing up to beat people's asses professionally.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
And then.
Just trying to keep a timeline for everybody else here.
Trying to think about it myself. I'm like, my God. So now I've had 10 pro fights. I had 10 pro fights, and one of them was kickboxing. I don't think I like kickboxing that much.
What's excuse my ignorance with it, and I apologize to anybody watching this stream who's an MMA fighter who's like just pissed at me right now. But what's the difference between Muay Thai and kickboxing when on the tournament championship level or professional level?
Professional level, yeah. So really the only difference is there's clinching in Muay Thai. So you know when they tie up.
Yeah.
You know, boxing they break you up. In Muay Thai you stay there, you work knees, you work elbows, and then there are no elbows in kickboxing. Okay. So I was pretty like, I really missed my elbows, and I lost that fight, but it was a split decision. It was a big fight. I fought. If
you've been able to use your elbows, it probably would have been a totally different story, right?
But so I'm like, I don't know if that would be the route that I would really want to go with my career, and I enjoyed it, but I was just like, I kind of felt like something was missing, and went back to the drawing board, and I was like, I'm just gonna fight Muay Thai, and I fought Muay Thai this whole year because that was last year, and then I was like, I think I want to try MMA. I've been training for a while now. Like, I don't think most people know that I've been training MMA for like 2 years, roughly. And I started taking it seriously about a year ago.
You keep it on the down low for a reason, or you just weren't sure that you wanted to?
I wasn't sure, so I was like, I'm just gonna dabble and get a little better and like no base. And maybe it's an avenue that I might try. My husband didn't want me to in the beginning, so there was that, and I had to fight through that issue.
What was that about, if you don't mind anything?
He was like, it's dangerous. He was a wrestler. He's like, your joints and all that. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but it's my life. I want to try it. So then we got to an agreement. I was like, I'm going to try it. So then when I, got serious about it this past year, I started getting to a point where I told my coach, I was like, I kind of want to take one, and he was like, you're not ready. I'm like, okay. So that it's the same situation. He's like, when he thought that I was ready, he was like, okay, this fight that I'm having in April kind of fell in my lap, and I was like, listen, it's that girl we fought last year, and he was like, oh yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, if he tells me I'm good, I know I'm good. I trust him. He would never let me do anything that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense too. I mean, that you have video footage of the fight. This chick. I mean, you guys can really develop a strategy that I guess a lot of people at the very early stages of going pro may not have access to. Unless you're fighting somebody who's been around a while. In which case that's a disadvantage in of itself. So.
True. Yeah. I've always posted all my videos. I don't care. I'm like, whatever. Some people are weird about it. I'm like, oh.
Well, no, in your case, I think because you're kind of struggling to get people to fight you, right?
I am still a little bit, yeah.
I would think it's kind of parallels music in a lot of ways. This sort of does, but in the fact it's like you got to be out there so people know you're there to try to find that person and be like, yeah, I'll take that challenge.
Yeah.
You know, let's do it and then move you forward. And I imagine moving into the MMA should help out quite a bit.
Exactly.
Then you can have a good showing in the beginning here.
Yeah, so. That was the thing. There's a girl that I'm rematching, the girl that I lost in kickboxing to. I'm rematching her next month, but I haven't announced that yet because she's fighting on tomorrow. So we're fighting tomorrow, and then after that we're gonna fight in May. And that's for a title, which I'm really stoked about. Really stoked about that.
Do you, are you holding any titles right now, or did you had to get when you moved out of the amateur, when you retired from the amateur, did you have to relinquish your titles at that time, or how did that work?
I don't really know if that's how that works. I mean, probably because other people come
claim,
up.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all my belts. I keep my belts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming that eventually someone else is there's gonna be another wave of girls come through, and then my name's gonna be taken off everything. That's just how the world works. But
well, especially if you're moving up, I would think you'd be like,
because now I'm professional,
thing.
Doesn't matter.
That's
it is what it is.
That was just the instrument to get you where you are.
Exactly. Yeah. No, totally. What were we talking about?
We're talking about the fights, getting
so just having more fights. Yeah. So that was also another reason why I wanted to maybe go with the MMA route, because I know that there's a lot more opportunity in the U.S. MMA is like huge here. So that would bring up, I guess, the question I would ask then, knowing your perspective right now, where you only seem to have very few girls in the weight class you're in now. Is it the sort of thing where you would need to try to move weight classes? Or are you just hoping that more people come into this? How would you go about finding people to fight if there's a lack of people in the weight class you're in? Like I don't know exactly how that works. For Muay Thai?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, really, the only...
if you're doing MMA, though, basically anybody, okay.
I don't think I'll have an issue finding opponents in MMA.
Okay.
Not at all. That was, like, part of the reasoning for doing that. And kickboxing is, it would be the same shit. Like, unless you're fighting on a huge card, it's like, no, you can't find anybody to fight you.
MMA sounds like it'd be the easiest one just because it is,
the easiest
inherently it's mixed martial arts, so anybody who's in that weight class can come in,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it's good, and then, we figure, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not saying, I'm gonna go be, like, I wanna go be in the UFC, like, everybody keeps asking me. I'm like, dude, I just wanna fucking try it and see if I like it, and that's really where I'm at,
I'm sure you would, humor the idea if it came down the pipeline.
If it came up, of course,
and there was a girl from the UFC that wanted to fight you, and you were like, dude, I'm just gonna... I'm trying to remember, in UFC, can you use elbows though?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she wants to take an elbow to the face, I'm sure you'd be happy to oblige her.
Yeah, I mean, those are top level girls, so that would be like a few years down the road, or, maybe
I'm sure
there could be a smaller show smaller shows that are pretty good, to fight for, that would be a possibility at the end of this year if, this next 2 fights go well. So yeah, we go, and, I met the matchmaker and the promoter. They were very nice, and he was like, thank you so much, I'm so excited to meet you. He's like, thanks so much for being part of the tournament. I was like, oh, awesome, no problem, it's a tournament. So bring us up in the ring, and they have, they're promoting the showing this big belt, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a belt involved. So that's awesome. I'm like, my first MMA fight, and I'm fighting for a belt technically, so that's dope.
This is coming up in April?
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, it's not a same night tournament, which I was like, okay, that was my first question. I'm like, as long as it's not a same night tournament, I'm good with this, because otherwise you're gonna have to give me more money to fight twice in one night. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now if the winners fight in June, 2 winners fight in June. Like
what you were saying about back in Thailand, when you said you had to fight 3 fights in one day.
Well, I did. 2 fights in one day for the end of the tournament. Yeah. So that last final round of the tournament in December, we fought twice. I think I had 45-minute break. And, there's no gear. It's
enough time to let, the lactic acid start to set in, and your muscles
start to get sore. I know. I was like, shit.
Ice!
Trying to, stay warm in the back a little bit the whole time. And we're like, all right, well, we have, an hour and a half. And Mark's like, chill out. Don't get too excited. The harder fight for me was first, so I was happy.
Oh, really?
I'm like, cool. I split her open. She won. Whatever. She won on tie scoring. And then I had to fight the Thai girl. But we had, we were supposed to have a little bit longer, and we hear, the crowd's going crazy. I was like, oh shit, glove up, it's time to go. And I'm like, so we're getting ready. Okay, we're gonna fight again. It was pretty funny. And watching, the the fight was actually on TV that night, so we all went out, all of the Australians and the Americans, went out and drank together afterwards, and the girl that ended up winning my first fight, she ended up winning the whole thing. So we all went out and got really drunk. We're having a great time at the bar, watching ourselves fight on TV. It was really fun. It was fun.
Was there, have you had any encounters where you fought somebody and there was still animosity or anything afterwards or any of that stuff? Or are most people there just because they're there for the sport of it and enjoying it?
Most people, I've never really had an issue with anyone. Most people that I fight I end up being friends with.
Yeah.
Most of them, yeah. There was only like one time where somebody was trying to like, you know, mean mug me or whatever, and they were never really nice to me. But I still don't really dislike the person. She didn't really do anything to me, so I was like, okay, well, she just maybe doesn't like me.
I've noticed there's plenty of people that don't like me where I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm still cool with you. Whatever. You don't have to like me. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just
you
gonna
don't
keep
have
driving on.
None of my business. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's good that you know it's.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of the stuff that's really hyped, especially in this super high end. Well, the UFC
Yeah.
say like, let's go with Conor McGregor is probably a great one, and just you know, and it's funny because I wonder how much of it is this real thing, how much of it is back to the era of WWE and even further back WWF, where it was just simply these ideas. It's a show, and the less people that know it's a show, the better the show is.
Yeah.
So,
no, I actually agree with you on a lot of that. Like, I just posted the other day that thing about, you know, you should respect yourself and your opponents and respect the game and all that, and you should just keep it classy, man, keep it classy. Especially as ladies, I'm like, let's fucking keep this classy, guys. Yeah.
I'm down with the idea of everybody giving everybody else the utmost respect.
Yeah, man, if it wasn't for that other person, I wouldn't be able to have a fight, and I wouldn't be able to do what I love, so I respect this person for giving me that opportunity, you know?
And let's face it, sometimes in life, you know, we take risks. Nothing wonderful or great in life ever comes without risk. And in this case, you know, I mean, you take a fight from somebody that you're like, man, I'm gonna take this fight, and you get your ass kicked, and it's like, well, you know, I chose to do it, and you survive it. You probably gain wisdom out of it and stuff.
Totally,
And,
you learn way more from the fights that you lose than the ones you win.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly.
Like everything in life, you know, and the people that actually take it, and I've seen it, you know, where it's like, they just take everything personally and stuff, and then hold against it. It's like, man, take it as a learning experience. You're actually gaining something out of it. Don't take it like the world's crushing you. The world's giving you a chance to grow.
No,
just
for
like
sure.
working out a little bit too hard, pulling those muscles, but they're going to come back that much stronger when they finally heal. It's like,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. I do a lot of mental training as well. It helps with that. Actually, you know where I got that? I started doing that from Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
He used to give us, talk about visualization. He used to talk about visualizing our chords. I can still play the D caged all in my head because of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I got my visualization techniques from, and then I, you know, as it progressed, I started using it for my sport, and it works. And then I found a book that Kenneth Baum wrote, and I did some mental training with him, actually, personally, because he lives in San Clemente.
Okay.
So random. I found this book. I lost a fight, right? And it was still an amateur. It's my amateur career, and I mean, I got my ass kicked. It was gnarly.
Yeah.
3 rounds of just brutal ass kicking, and my hair fell out. It was such a bad experience.
Your hair fell out.
My hair fell out. That was the worst thing. Mark always makes fun of me, still my coach, because like I was in another town. I think we were in like San Jose or some shit, and I have somebody do braids, and I'm like, listen.
There's a lot of good fighters in San Jose.
Yeah. Like, they need to be tight, and they were not tight. So, as soon as I started getting cracked, my hair just falls down. I have pictures, it's so funny. But yeah, so after that loss, I, like, kind of wanted to do some soul searching. I was like, I feel like I should start doing some, like, mental techniques to really, like, improve my game. So I went to the last bookstore downtown. I was looking for this book everywhere, and I didn't know what book.
It's still there, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't know what book I was looking for. I was like, I'm looking for a book on, like, this was like something out of a movie too. So I go there, you know the maze that's upstairs, or like labyrinth of books upstairs?
I've heard, but I haven't been up there.
Oh, you gotta go.
I have to be honest, in all fairness, I haven't been in.
Just check it out. They have so many books, so many different kinds. So like this old guy pops out of nowhere, like he's like putting books down and stuff. He pops out of nowhere, he's got like crazy white hair, and he's like, can I help you? And I was like, actually, yeah. I was like, I'm looking for a book. I don't really know what I'm looking for. It would be in the sports section, I'm guessing. It's like mental techniques, like mental, you know, training, for sports athletes, and he was like, well, I don't know, but it would probably be over here in this section, and he showed me Ken's book, and it was $1, and I was like, looking, I'm like, this looks exactly like what I want. I took it home, read it, and then I'm like, I use it all the time, and it has like personal affirmations, things like this, you know, positive beliefs about yourself. It's like really, really good stuff. And then one day I'm on Instagram and I see a high-level athlete with a picture of him, and I'm like, that's that guy. That's that guy that I bought that book. So yeah, that's been a game changer too. Just like trying to stay positive. And it's like, it's a very mental sport. You know, if you let it defeat you, then you can't win.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of that. You know, I have things in life that most people like do that would drag you down. How do you stay so positive? So being positive is the one thing that keeps me going. It's like, plus, you know, I mean, look at where we're at. We're getting to choose what we do every day for the most part. You know, I wake up and I decide all this stuff. You know.
If I don't, you know, you're right. You know, and if I woke up tomorrow and was like, I don't want to fight anymore, then I don't have to. You know, it's amazing. Choice is amazing. I don't think people realize that everything in life is a choice. I don't know. I'm getting deep mental now.
Well, no, it's funny because I'm suddenly having the image of Ivan, like, Ivan Drago circa, you know, like 90 USSR, and it's like, oh, I want to stop fighting. You know, you do not get to stop fighting. You know, it's like.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
That movie was on the other day, too. Love that movie.
I love that movie.
It's great.
I also love I checked out the other, not too long ago, Family Guy and their thing where they go and get the, have you seen that? They get like a Russian copy of it, but they changed it all so Drago kicks the shit out.
No, I've never seen that.
It's funny, yeah.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah, then they have a whole Putin episode, but I won't get into it. Yeah, funny stuff.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with Rocky.
No, never. I watch it before my fights. I like, fight day, I wake up, make breakfast, and start watching like angry pump you up movies.
Yeah. So what kind of, speaking of which, so what kind of stuff, music do you listen to? What do you do to get pumped up on the day of a fight or even the night before? Like what sort of things do you do to get yourself in that frame of mind?
Yeah. The night before I try and stay calm. Usually that's weight cut. You know, that's after the weight cut. I'm just trying to refuel and get myself feeling normal again and relax and chill, take a bath, you know, whatever.
Do you do a drastic weight cut?
I don't do a drastic weight cut. They've gotten more drastic in my older age because it's getting harder, and you know I had to go up in weight, so I'm like 125. I used to fight at like 112. I was so tiny for a really long time, which is not natural for my body. It's just not.
Yeah.
So you know, in order to be a little bit more healthy and a little bit more natural to my size, I went to 125. So
also put some more muscle on you. So
yeah, no, totally. Yeah, my
it.
body just loves muscle. I could look at weights and it's just gets bigger. And my dad's like that. I hate it.
I bet you there's a lot of people wishing that they had that.
I know. I bitch about it, but everybody's like, "Oh my God, you look great." I'm like, "Thank you." I'm just thinking about my weight cut the whole time. I'm like, I don't care what it looked like. I just need to be like this weight. So yeah, that's probably the worst part about fighting for me is like I get really, really anxious about stepping on the scale. I have to check my weight like almost every fucking day. It drives me nuts. Just because you know you got to make sure you don't let yourself. You want to stay within a certain range. I fight at 25, so I like to walk around anywhere between 133 and like 138. And
so you can drop it for the day.
Yeah,
and
so I don't have to cut too much water. Like I can drop a few pounds each week.
I'm between 180 and 191. No matter what, no matter how much anything, no matter what I do, it's like
perfect.
Yeah, and
that's nice.
You work it out with Greg all that time. I got up to like 190, but you know, and if I if I stop eating all that shit, I only drop to about 180. So
yeah, no, your body.
It's crazy that you're able to do that. Yeah.
Your body is amazing.
So then taking it back, so you were talking about the night before, you know, you're recovering. So from the time that you do the weight cut up until then, so you're trying to put on as much weight from the time that you.
Well, I'm just trying to rehydrate. That's really all. I'm not trying to really put on weight. I'm just trying to rehydrate
it's just about
myself.
You cut all that water.
I just don't want to be dehydrated anymore. I've only really had one bad one where I felt like and that was actually the glory fight. I felt like I didn't feel good after. Usually when I eat and rehydrate, I feel good again. I'm like, oh, I'm me again. That one I felt weird. I don't know. I was doing a keto diet. I think that was not good for me. Everybody's different, you know.
Yeah, I've been doing I've been on a super high protein diet now.
I like those better. I like the protein diets better than the fat ones. But yeah, so I chill, try and rehydrate, eat. We usually do sushi. It's the best. And
Can't go wrong with
yeah,
sushi
it's like
for me.
perfect carb protein ratio. And then the next day, I usually, this is funny, I just try and stay relaxed. I stretch out a lot when I wake up. I'll bake some stuff, like, 'cause I like to bake. And then, I have like certain movies that I watch every single time.
Yeah.
Like The Fighter, Warrior, Rocky, what else? Oh, 300. 300 is a really good one. And I don't even watch it, I'll just turn it on while I'm like doing stuff.
To have it
and
in the
just hear it.
background, yeah. So where I am with most things. Yeah.
Yeah, I like baking, it's fun. So yeah, no, that's pretty much it, and then, because it's all a waiting
Get
game.
that
I'm just like
subconscious motivation
waiting, yeah, so
Yeah.
you want to remain.
Well, that's probably one of the hardest parts, right?
You don't want to get
that
nervous.
Anticipation.
Yeah, you
You're
don't want
just
to
like,
get, start thinking about it, your heart rate starts going up, I don't really get nervous too much. I get more nervous now, I think, than I did in the beginning, because as an amateur, I was just like, whatever.
You're up in the ante.
Yeah, it's like now I have more to lose, so it means more to me. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And let's face it, but you also have more to gain now every
No, for
step
sure.
up. So
Yeah, no, that's
you know,
true. Yeah, definitely. I
you
just
have
train.
the entire sky's the limit at this point
For sure.
you. So you're in a really good spot to move forward.
Yeah. And I got I got 3 more years, I think, left.
Yeah.
So get as much done as I can in the next 3 years and retire.
Retire and see how many belts that you have. See if you
Yeah.
can fill up
See how
the
many
room.
belts I can get
Oh,
together before I retire, and then maybe have babies. I don't know.
There.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, most fighters that are in like the higher level shows and stuff, they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Some of them are in their mid 30s, upper, but I don't know. For me, I feel like that's too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're also in a good spot that if you do this and things go well, like you'll be putting yourself in a position here in LA to retire, but keep working out and move into like a training capacity, and actually teach others to do it if you decided you wanted to do that. So I mean, it's really great because you still have the entire life ahead of you that you can do past it. That's still lucrative and it's a growing market. Let's face it, I mean, particularly the UFC, but MMA in general is a growing thing. More and more people are doing it.
Really
It's funny because I think back to, remember that Kimbo Slice and those videos, and as soon as like that kind of came out, like it's such a huge untapped market of demographic, I should say, of people started coming out, and they're like, we brought that guy into the UFC or whatever, and
that's right. Oh, man.
Actually, my youngest brother, he was on leave from the Navy here visiting, and we were right down on right at Whitley and Hollywood Boulevard, and Kimbo and his crew were coming by. My brother, I wasn't gonna stop him. My brother was like, no, we gotta do it. Come by. I was like, dude, no, Kimbo. Dude was hella cool, like bear hugs my brother and shit like that. I was like, just actually the nicest fucking guy.
Yeah.
It really surprised me how fucking nice that guy was.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I feel like there's a stereotype about fighters and how they're like.
Well, at this point too, and this is one of the things, he was also successful. He was already had done his UFC debut and stuff. So he had started to have legit money coming in and stuff like that. So I think I mean, I don't know. He probably was just as nice before that too.
Yeah.
But
no, for
he
sure.
was like,
No, I do some training now. I train some people. I think I spend like 15 hours training people every week.
Yeah.
Privates, just like friends, recommend, people that were recommended, people that come from the gym that want to train with me now. And I always forget, like I teach a class on Mondays at the gym, and people will come in, the first time, and they're like, oh, you're Killface, and I'm like, what are you doing? I forgot I'm on the website. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on the Yard website. That's right. Yeah, that's me. But yeah, so I do that now. That's how I make money. That's how I make my money when I'm not fighting.
I'm hoping that people will check this out and come and check you out. And it's great you're doing that you're already having experience. I mean, you're already working in that realm, so.
Yeah, so it's good. I've always.
So you're already set up. You're talking about, when you retire, but that's so far in the distance as far, you might stop fighting professionally, but shit.
Yeah, I know. I'll never be able to stop training ever. Never. But I am finishing another degree. I don't know if I told you that.
No, you didn't.
Geology. I'm interested in geophysics.
How'd you get into that?
Well, I started going back to school just because, you know, I need a bachelor's. I got an associate's from MI, so I was like, I probably should have a bachelor's of some sort. But I really wasn't thinking about that when I went back to school. My husband and I went to Italy, like, 4 years ago now? 5 years ago? I don't know. And I wanted to learn Italian before we went. So I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go take this class. So I took a class. And then I was like, maybe I'll just take, like, some more classes to see if I should get a degree. So then I started taking more classes. And then I was like, well, I should probably figure out what I'm gonna take.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I took geology back east when I went to school when I was young. I was like, maybe I'll take a geology course. I remember liking that. It was fun. That's always how my life goes. I'm like, what was that one thing that was really fun? I'm gonna do that. It's like always what I do. I'm like, I refuse to do anything I don't like. But
my mom was a business and career consultant. That was the number one thing that she said to people. She would ask them, when you were a kid, what was the thing that you wanted to be?
yeah, something you like.
What did you want to do? What did you want to be? You know, and most people.
That's like the best advice I've ever heard.
It was simply, well, it's based on the principle you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
what made you happy?
Yeah.
And then find something in that realm, even if it's not specifically that thing. Look peripherally from that starting spot and see
Find out, the
because
facets.
it may be that, you know, that you're not really good at that, but you might be really good at something right on the peripherals of it.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know, and it's just one of the best ways to approach life. So that way
really
you're already looking at the sun.
Yeah, I know, right? I just want to be happy in my life.
Yeah.
I don't even know, you know? So it's like, think about, like, I don't know, this is life. I may only get to do this once. I don't know. I want to do it right, you know? So, yeah, so I started taking geology classes, and I was like, I really do like science. I really like science. Never good at math, terrible at math, but I have managed to dredge my way all the way through calculus 2.
Oh, wow.
I am done with all of that shit, I think. I might have to do one more. But so, yeah, so like I just do 2 classes at a time because it's not that hard. It's fun, so I can like juggle it with everything else.
Yeah.
So like right now I think I'm taking the hydrology elective, and
I think it's one of the better ways to do college, unless you're right out of high school and you're
And you
already in
have
that
the
mode
time,
of doing that. I think anybody who's doing other stuff, it's better to just do
couple
1 or 2 classes
you
at
really
a time, so
retain.
you can absorb it. And
Exactly.
You do something, and again, like you're saying, do something you want to do,
Yeah.
make sure you want to be there, so you can appreciate it and
you
enjoy
really
your time.
appreciate it more as you, like, you know, I went back as I'm older and I really enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah,
Well, maybe because I'm
I
doing
didn't
what I
finish
like.
my bachelor degree until I was 35.
Yeah, and that's probably about the age I'm gonna be when I finish.
Yeah.
I think maybe 2021. I'm only like, I think I'm 6 classes away from graduating
Yeah.
with a bachelor's in geology, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, I've been slowly chipping away, and I pay for it as I go now because I don't want to accrue any debt. Yeah, so, and I'm gonna do the geology degree first, and then I might go back and minor in physics,
There you go.
just so I can do geophysics, because Cal State's cheap and it's the only place I can afford. They don't offer like a geophysics program, so I'm just gonna have to makeshift one out of what they got, I guess.
I actually thought about going back to UCLA since I
Oh, nice.
I think I can still use, despite having my bachelor degree, I think I can use veterans waivers. So it costs me like $1 per semester, however many classes I take. But I only take 1 or 2, but I want to do some physics and some of those, the STEM classes that
They're so
I
fun.
really, well, because I took, you know, when I was at MI there and then at LACC, I just took all the classes as much as I could. I think at one point I was taking 28 units between the 2 schools at one time. It was insane.
That's insane.
And well, to the point where I'd have to decide which class I was going to at LACC or at MI because I couldn't be at both. So it was absolutely horrible. And but point being, like, I'm hoping that, you know, I'll be able to go back and take some of those classes
You should.
that I would have wanted to take, but I was in no position to retain anything for it.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned so much more as an adult going back, especially too because it's coming out of your own pocket. I mean, it came out of my own pocket then too, but you don't really like, if it's a loan, it doesn't really feel like it's coming out of your own pocket, you know,
well,
until later.
Yeah.
Until later.
I'm still dealing with my student loans.
Me
but that's a
too,
whole
yeah,
other
me
thing,
too.
so.
Yeah, that's why I can't like take anything else out. I just have to pay little by little as I go.
Exactly.
But you know, I get pretty, you know, I apply for a shit ton of scholarships and stuff, and I get some of them. They may not be much, like $500 here, $600 there, whatever. Yeah, and then I did a show for HBO like a couple years ago. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
It's called The Fight. It was the episode's called The Fight. Have you heard of Room 104? It's like a weird ass series on HBO.
No, not to my recollection.
Okay, so it's about the room itself in a hotel, and each episode is different. So
Okay, I think I may have heard of it actually.
maybe
yeah,
it was so it was a really interesting show. It's very dark. It's
I think somebody related it to me like it's kind of like the idea of Twilight Zone, where it's this thing, and each one is weird, but they're each its own standalone.
Totally.
thing.
So each episode was new people. So I'm in one called The Fight, and that was like a whole random thing for me because I've never acted in my life, and I get this HBO thing. I felt so terrible for like my friends who were actors who worked so hard, and they barely can make a living. Like, I'm sorry, but I got lucky. Like, a friend of a friend was directing it, Megan Griffiths, and we have a mutual friend, Kathy, who we used to train together for Muay Thai, and we've kept in touch. She lives in Seattle. And she was like, yo, my friend is looking for a real fighter for this part. And I was like, okay, all right, cool, whatever. I'm probably not going to go. I'm not an actress,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, sure, send me the info. I'm not going to go. And she sent me the info, and the audition was like, I don't remember. The audition location I looked up, and I was like, I have like a stack day that day. But they emailed me back, and they were like, the location's here, and it was right down the street from where I live.
Yeah.
In like a house in Highland Park. I was like, that's weird. And I was like, well, what times do you have for the audition? And they sent me like a block of different times, and I was like, oh, I'm actually free. I was like, all right, I'll come. So they send me over the script, and I'm like, I practice over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I like read it, and I'm like, my husband was in TV for a while, so I'm like, can you like help me? So he would like read back for me.
It feels weird, right? Like, I still feel weird about this sort of thing just being on camera.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one of those people that feels charismatic,
I don't mind. I'm actually good if it's not like the camera's right in my face.
Yeah. Well, this is a different thing too, where we basically forget that this is even here, and we're just having a conversation.
No,
but
totally.
Yeah, like where I'm going, like the idea of getting a script and shit. I don't think I can do that.
It was actually really fun. I was nervous the first day.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of reading to do, but like I practiced a lot, and I'm good at memorization, so I was good at memorizing the lines. But they only have you do like sections at a time, So.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to the audition, so I went to the audition and I did my reading or whatever, and I was like, they're not gonna call me back. Are you kidding me? I've never done this before. I'm like, who the fuck is this girl? So I get an email, and they're like, we want you to come to the workout portion of this audition. What was I gonna say? So they called me for the second audition. So we went to that workout audition, and I get in the audition, and the guy who's holding the pads and like telling me what to do, he was like, his name's John Spitzano, really nice dude. And they were like talking, and he was like, oh, what gym do you train at? I was like, I train at the Yard. And he was like, oh shit, you right? So yeah, we're talking about Chris, and then we're goofing off, and he's like, oh shit, I know her, I know who she is. So I was like, oh god, this is kind of funny. So he's like, all I need you to do is just do like blah 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 for me, just so the camera can get it. Okay, cool. Hit the pads, kick the pads, whatever. He's like, how's your jiu-jitsu? I'm like, it's all right. You can probably tell me what to do. So he tells me how to do like 3 different things. We're like, cool. All right, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, they're probably still not gonna call me back because there's a lot of reading in this part. So they call me back again.
Was there how many girls were there for the second thing?
Oh, there were a lot of girls.
Okay.
I saw like 7 girls in the time that I was sitting there, and people were coming out and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw one girl that I knew, and I was like, oh, I know her. It's Kita. She's an actress who does like, she's had a couple fights now, but she's like a practitioner, so to speak, like an MMA practitioner. So they call me again or email me or whatever, and they were like, we want you to come in and do one more reading. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? These people actually really want me to do this. So I go in and do the last reading, and I go in and I sit on the couch, and there's a guy there, and he's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Mark Duplass, and it's like the guy who wrote the whole fucking thing, and he was like, I watched your fights. They were great, and like we're talking, and I'm like, cool, all right, cool. And then find out later who he is. Go upstairs, do my reading, and they email me. They're like, you got it. We want you to do it. We want you to be Greta. And I'm like, the lead. And I'm like, what the fuck? How does this even happen? I was like, okay. So I go in. The first day was awesome. I was nervous. But yeah, the first day was like a lot of dialogue. We did most of the dialogue in the first day, so that every other day was the choreographed stuff.
Okay.
Because we had all choreographed fight scene, and I've never done choreographed fight scene. And the girl that I knew, they cast her for the other part.
Oh, that's cool.
We knew each other. Her ground game was better than mine. My stand-up was better than hers. We complemented each other well. And she's a WOW Women of Wrestling person.
Okay.
She does wrestling, so she knows choreographed fight scenes.
So she's had practice of this before, can help you to make it easier.
And she really helped. She really, really helped. She was helpful. So yeah, that first day was a lot of reading, but it was good. It was fun. Yeah. And like after the initial like start of it, I felt good about it.
Yeah.
And
one of those things where you just had to let everything fall into place, and then it's kind of like, all right, you're just.
Yeah, I try not to ever force anything. If something feels forced, I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. It's probably not meant to be.
I feel that way when I do my drum videos and stuff like that, and the little intros and stuff. And I hate doing monologues. I just, So I've never really been in a position, like film stuff, interacting, reading scripts, and all that. So, it'd probably be easier working off somebody else too. But,
it is.
I don't know. Shit.
Yeah, it's good though. So yeah, that was that. That was really fun.
When did that air?
It came out not last year, but the year before.
Okay.
You can still see it. It's still on HBO Go.
Okay.
But yeah, they had 2 seasons. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So, and it's Room 104.
Room 104. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
we're episode 12 or something on season 1.
Okay. Well, now since I know that everything's running, I don't know how much before, but we'll have Room 104 down there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. See people check it out.
Yeah.
I'm Greta. We gave her a fight name too. Her name was Greta Gaines. I was like, her name's Greta Ground and Pound Gaines, guys. That's her name. That's her name. So we were joking about that the whole time.
Rad.
It was so fun. I got kicked through a wall at one point.
Oh wow.
That was fun. If you watch it, you'll see it. But so a little inside scoop. We were carpet burned up. Like our backs were so carpet burned from like doing the same thing over and over. But there were a couple moments where we're like, okay, we have to do this. Like my feet. I'm like, why am I the one I was going through the wall? So like the first one that she flipped me. And my heels had to go through the wall. That one went smoothly. I was like, okay, cool. It went through right on the first one because they have scored the wall behind it, the drywall.
Yeah.
So that one was fine. No big deal. I think I maybe had to do it twice because the way the first one went didn't go, so they reset it and we did it again.
Yeah.
But the one, she push kicked me. And I was like, listen, Keita, I want you to really push kick me, like, for real. I was like, I'm going to let myself go. I don't want to do this twice. I was like, I want to go through the wall one time. And she was like, okay, I think they said they had like 3 different walls. And I was like, I don't want to do this 3 times. I just want to do this once. So she push kicks me as hard as she can. I let myself go. They didn't score the wall hard enough. And I fucking hit the wall like really hard and nothing happened. I was like, God damn it. But it didn't hurt me. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Everybody comes running and, oh my God. I was like, guys, I do this for a living. It's fine. Like, it didn't hurt as bad as I thought. Let's do it again. But please, score it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
it was
like,
fun.
somebody do your job. Come on.
Yeah.
We're all trying to be pros here.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you see anything as far as acting coming up in your future again?
I would love to do it again, yeah. No. I've actually reached out and stuff, but like I said, if it's forced, I won't go for it. Like, I've reached out to a couple people about, like, representing me or whatever, and I never really get anything back, or, everybody's like, well, you've only done this one thing, and, like, we don't really have anything for you, and I know it's a whole process. A lot of my friends are actors, so
yeah,
I'm just like, they want headshots and, like, all this shit, and I'm like, what you get is what you get over here, guys. I don't really care.
Yeah, I got quite a few friends that are trying to do this and that, and I've had one actor come on so far, then Dancing Silly, the married couple, they were actors and they created their whole thing. And I got a lot of people that want to come in and talk about it. It's like, man, it seems like it's just,
it's a hard thing to do.
But I think it's also for some people like doing it. Some people like the steps to go through, and that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes the tenacity and perseverance to just stick it through. And kind of like what we were talking about before, too, about how lucky we were in a lot of ways early on to have this huge network of friends that were all doing things. And, that's also a huge benefit. So I think, I would imagine in that realm of acting and stuff, having those other people you're working off of, and calls are going around, and
Yeah, and I think once you start to get something, then the ball is kind of rolling for you, and you make that network of friends, and it helps you get to other things. Yeah. I have one of my best friends in New York City. She's actually, her and her husband, I feel like they're my friends that are actors that are actually making a living acting.
Yeah.
It's been rough for them, but they're actually making a living now, so I'm really happy for them. Yeah. She's fucking amazing, that girl. She's like a unicorn. She's a very rare person.
Yeah.
She shaved her head. She looks amazing.
Okay.
She's fucking awesome. She makes very inappropriate jokes in the wrong times on purpose. She's so funny. She's funny. She's very funny. But yeah, what we were talking about before, I forgot about this. So, like, you asked me what kind of music I like to listen to. I will always love metal. I still love metal. I will love it forever. That's usually what I listened to before. Yeah. One of my my friends is in a band back where I grew up, and my cousin's actually the singer. And they wrote a song inspired by me. He sent it to me yesterday. I was like, oh, this is so sweet.
Can you say who it is or what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, feel free to give props out to, you know.
Yeah, let me look, because I can't remember the name of it. I actually like it. It's pretty dope. But he's going to send it to me so I can walk out to it for my next fight. I was like, I'll do it. Survive on something. I can't read the rest of it.
If you can get a clip of it at the end of this thing, I'll play it as the outro music.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put it up there. But the name of their band's Knuckle Duster, which I think is really appropriate.
Knuckle Duster.
Knuckle Duster. Awesome. Yeah, I went and saw them a few years ago when I went back to visit. Charlie and I were really close growing up. We worked at the same restaurant.
Is this back in West Virginia?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's such a small place. You know everybody that you grow up with. Like, it's a... You know, I graduated with 50 people, I think.
Lisa, you're saying there's about 5,000 people when you left there, so it's probably had a booming population. It's probably up to about 5,050.
It's down, I think.
Is it?
It's down to like 3,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's sad. It was a mining town.
World's turned tech.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, no. So we were close growing up. He's a dope guy. But he was I think he was the Air Force. He was like a sniper in the Air Force for a long time. He used to call me. When he was gone, yeah. But yeah, I love metal. That's my favorite to listen to when I'm training, when I'm getting ready for a fight, get nice and ready to go. It's usually like that or jazz. It's like those are my two things right now. I listen, 88.1?
That's what I got in my car.
I love 88.1.
Because I try to, because I'm a naturally an aggressive person, and anybody who's driven with me knows
I'm the same way in my car.
Super aggressive driver.
I have to tone it down.
So I do it, and it helps to keep me kind of moderated.
Same.
I figure as I get older too, I'm tend to have more patience. You know,
that's good. I find I'm getting a little better. My husband doesn't think so.
It's funny too. When I was in the Army, when we were on the tanks on the desert, this is back in the day. This will date me. Walkman.
Oh,
like
shit.
Cassette tapes.
I remember the Walkman.
Yeah, well, I mean, given most of my stuff was CD, but they tended to work better out in the desert. The CD players, a little bit of dust got in there. So I had my own special channel on the radars, or on the communications, and I would play metal. So I was playing, Pantera and Maiden and Slayer and stuff on a special channel. So if anybody knew the frequency to turn to, they could
listen.
Have my radio station.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
The Maya radio station.
Oh, that's how I got pumped in the morning.
That's awesome.
Cranking the metal.
Nice.
Ready to go out and fire big guns.
Hell yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm the same way in the car, though. I have to listen to jazz because I'll freak the fuck out. And, I mean, I get in fights with people in my car. I'm like, come on. Some guy got out of his car the other day and got real crazy with me.
With you?
In a parking lot. Yeah.
What'd you do?
Like,
I mean, okay, no, wait. So that's a two-part question. That's duality.
I know.
Yeah, what did you do and what'd you do?
Make him get out of his car? Okay, so the Sprouts by my house, they have arrows on the parking lanes or whatever, like out in.
Yeah.
But it's a large lane. Nobody follows them. So I understand why he thought that I was wrong. Nobody follows the arrows. Yeah. You have enough space. I have enough space. I was making a turn in.
People blow a lot of shit off in parking lots because it's not the street.
Yeah, and I'm just like, all right. So I'm pulling in, and he gets so aggressive. He, pulls forward in his white BMW, and he's, the man with his car. And I'm like, oh, my God. So he pulls up to the point where he makes me put my car in reverse. So I'm, already halfway turn, and I put my car in reverse. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. Do your thing. And I'm like, you know what? He's, yelling at me. I see, this. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. And I just flip him off and say, fuck you. And then it was like, oh my God, you would have thought that I would have killed his mother because he got nuts. He was like, fuck me. I ruined his whole weekend, I'm sure.
Well, good.
And I'm just laughing at him. I'm like, you're ridiculous. And I'm laughing at him. He gets out of his car, 3 cars behind him now. gets out of his car, comes around. I was like, really? Really, you gonna do this? You want me to get out of my car? You really gonna do this right now? And I'm embarrassed because this is my Sprouts. I'm there every day.
Yeah,
So I'm like, God damn it. So I'm like laughing at him, and I'm like, cool, bro, like doing shit like that, and making him so mad. He's like, whatever. So
what are you gonna do? Come up and punch me?
I know. This is the second time that's happened to me with a man, though.
Really?
They get so intimidated when I stand up for myself, and I'm like,
here's
what's
some
wrong
other,
with you?
Here's some other weak ass shit too. Don't take this the wrong way, and maybe I'm out of bounds here, but even if I were to get out of my car to go have a confrontation of whatever sort with somebody, as soon as I saw it was a woman, I'd probably be like, fuck, man, I just got to go get back in my car and just suck this one up.
I think that's respectful.
And be like, because I'm just like, there, you know, at that point, I'm like, I'm not going to get physically into it with them, and I don't want to be the guy to sit here and just start yelling at a woman. Like, even if she was totally wrong, unless I thought she was actually hurting somebody, if she was actually going to hurt somebody, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd just be like, you know what, this isn't worth it.
Yeah, it was in a parking lot. Like, he was obviously having a bad, but he just seemed really, like...
But any dude that would just be like...
self-righteous and
I'm going to go up and da-da-da and pose my will, and you're just like, dude, how fucked up are you? How bad is your life?
I know.
That you, like, stopped what you were doing, got out of the car, blocked these other people to go up here, starting some shit.
Start yelling at me, like, you're going to get, like, in, like... I don't know, it was so weird.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, what do you actually think? Unless you're actually planning on going up and physically getting into an altercation with somebody.
Why are you going to get out of your car?
That's the only reason why somebody would do that, right?
Right?
Is because that's what you say when you get out of your car like that.
He was like, literally, the car distance was probably from where we're sitting, too. He knew it was a fucking female. He was just being a dick. Yeah. I'm like, bitch, I'm not going to sit here and take your shit. I'm just going to laugh at you. You don't want me to get out of my car. You don't want me to get out of my car, because I will get crazy.
Well, the funny thing is, too, is like, let's give in, you know, the fact of who you are and stuff. I mean, if he didn't expect it, dude, you might just pop one, dude, and all of a sudden knock him on his ass, right? And it's like,
I mean, I probably wouldn't, but...
No, but still, but the man versus woman thing, well, dude, if you get the right shot at him real quick, it's like, dude, you just got your ass handed to you by a chick after you were being an asshole here.
Being an asshole. Have you seen... Oh, shit, there's this stand-up...
I'd love to see... Do you know how much I would love to see that, though? I know I'm not a good... I'm sorry, I know I'm not a good person for this, but I would love to see that. Just, or even better, if you were to just go like you're going to walk away and then spin with your elbow right
There's some videos of people doing that, like, in, like, stick-up situations.
Yeah.
Like, throwing a spinning back elbow and knocking the guy out.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Seems like a smart way to do it,
right?
If you know what you're doing. I'm not going to advocate anybody try that shit.
No,
unless you know what the fuck you're doing.
I would be scared to get shot.
Well, that's the thing. You miss like that, and you're probably going to get shot.
Going to die. Yeah, no, don't do that. But yeah, so that was the altercation with the dude. So, have you seen? Oh shit, what's that guy's name? I just posted it on Instagram in my story. There's a stand-up comedian on Netflix right now. He's an Italian guy from like Philly or New York or whatever. And he's fucking hilarious, but he's talking about that in one of the skits. He's like, you know, back in the day, you know, we just, you know, get in a fight, you punch the guy, whatever, you have a black eye, no big deal. He's like, now, you don't know what he knows. He's like, this motherfucker could be wrapped upon your back with his feet in your nuts, and you don't even know what happened. You're asleep. I was like, dude, it's so true. You have no idea nowadays.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, start shit with people. It's crazy.
Dude, yeah, it's one thing I think I've appreciated over time is given my height, like I never have to worry about anybody just coming up and starting shit. So I've never been worried about somebody just suddenly jumping on me and wrapping me up because nobody even, you know. And I'm not going out.
You're mellow. You're chill. Yeah. No.
Well, no, I don't. I can get pretty irate pretty quick,
crazy.
But it's always, and then I've said it on some other podcasts. It's always. If somebody's fucking with somebody, they're never fucking with me, but like we said, we have a fairly good sized group of friends, and generally when I'm out and about, I'm with a group of friends, and it'll be somebody fucking with somebody in our group, doesn't realize that we're a group, and then all of a sudden they have somebody like me tapping them on the shoulder, being like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, but it's pretty much as far as it goes. So,
yeah.
You know, I've been
that's good.
really lucky in the fact that, you know, I don't have to deal with a bunch of shit that way.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said before, I've never been in a street fight, thank God. Been in fights with my sister that were street-like.
Well, you have the that thing too, though, where if you were to be in a fight now and you were to seriously hurt somebody, you could be charged with assault with a deadly weapon.
Won't be able to fight, no, so it's not worth it to me. I mean, if you start it, I'm going to finish it, but
well,
that was always my rule anyway.
It's a totally different thing, if somebody comes and assaults you first, well, you're just defending yourself, and then it's, what's reasonable force? Well, if well, your deadly weapons, but I mean, that was what you had to defend yourself with. Same thing. The gun. It's like, I shot him and I was trying to fucking wound him, and unfortunately I hit an artery and he died. They fucking attacked me first.
Yeah,
what do you want?
That was my dad's rule growing up. They can always start it, but you must finish it. That was the rule. So I still abide by that. I think it's fair.
Hey, I'm a huge advocate of finishing it, but I just, like I said, I don't have many chances to do it. It's probably a good thing, I mean, fuck, man, we don't need
do that.
Life is so tough, just the way it is, and like we're saying, just chasing the sunlight and the happiness and trying to, do what we want to do, and make a lucrative living doing it is, it's tough enough that way, don't need to add shit that people,
No, not at all.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
So, your next tournament is coming up pretty quick then?
Yeah, man, 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks. I've been training hard. It's been good.
So, if people are wanting to see it, how can they check that out?
It's for Fight Club OC. It's, I think, let me, 1 second, I'll get you the website.
That'd be rad.
Fight Club. Yeah, so it's SOCAfights.com. SOCAfights.com. Yeah, you can get your tickets there, or you can hit me up on Instagram at Lady Killface, and I got tickets for you. Yeah. So it's in the OC hangar at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So it should be cool. It's a really nice venue. I really like it.
I've been down there to the OC fairgrounds. It's been quite a few years though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice down there. I had never been, so it's cool.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. Well, this fight's actually in a ring, so I think it's going to be like good.
I'll make an intention to go down there and check it out. I'd love
Let me
to
know,
see it, so,
and I'll
I will. Get me in on that because I want to check it out.
Cool.
It looks awesome.
It's going to be fun, yeah. It's in a ring, so that's interesting. So most fights, MMA fights, are in a cage, but this one's in a ring because they do boxing and MMA. So they bounce back and forth. So it's like a boxing fight and then an MMA fight, then a boxing fight, then an MMA fight. It's actually pretty fun. They do like raffles for money in between, like you know.
Would you rather cage it up, or are you gonna?
No, I will eventually, yeah. But I think for me, coming from a ring, I think it'll be a nice transition. Yeah. Because it's like I'm doing something different, but I'm still in my element, where I feel comfortable. So I think it'll be a good transition. Yeah, it should be fun.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I know that we've been going pretty long, so we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
But do you any shout outs you want to give or anything for the where you're training? Anything?
Yeah. Let's see. Shout outs. I train at the Yard Muay Thai. It's over in Lincoln Heights in Los Angeles.
If they anybody wants to go check that out.
Everyone check it out.
How would they get a hold of the Yard?
Theyard.com.
Perfect.
theyardmuaythai.com.
Theyardmuaythai.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I love our gym. It's open gym format. There's always a trainer there to help you. I've been there. It's like my home. I've been there almost 10 years now. It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. Well, it's been a really interesting journey from where all of us got here and the different things. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I'm so glad to see that you're doing all this and doing so well, and that you were able to come and do this. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah. It's fun. Thanks for having me. Awesome.
Yeah, totally. Well, I look forward to hopefully we'll have you back here in the future. Once you get a chance to kind of get established in the pro MMA circuit, and you want to come back talk about it.
Yeah.
Up and coming fights, and I really look forward to coming down and seeing you. And, dude, thanks
You'll have fun.
Yeah. Well, Natalie Killface Morgan, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks.
Dude, thanks for doing
this.
Thanks,
man. Yeah, this was great.